Om. Om. Mulavidya Nirasa. Okay, after a long time, by going through lot of vignas, lot of obstructions, somehow we have steered through many obstructions and have come to today's class. Hope that we will be able to do hereafter more classes instead of this rare classes like this. We'll have more classes at least. Okay, Mulavidya Nirasa today. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Om Om. Okay, so we were discussing in Mulavidya Nirasa, second chapter has begun. In the second chapter, 23rd, Bhava Rupa Ajnana Asiddhi. There is no asiddhi, you cannot establish Bhava Rupa Ajnanam, a positive ignorance. For that, when Siddhanti told that Bhava Rupa Ajnanam, the positive ignorance can't be established. Yat Paramartha Satta Pratipakshe Durupapada iti. Nacha sa seddhum arhati. Katham narhati. Now the Purupakshi, the defender of Mulavidya, the advocate of Mulavidya says, hereafter, instead of calling Purupakshi, we will call him hereafter advocate of Mulavidya. Okay? Hereafter, advocate of Mulavidya. And Siddhanti, that makes it clear. So the advocate of Mulavidya says, how can you say that Mulavidya or the positive ignorance cannot be established? He says, I'll show you how it can be established. Yavata tisrushu api avasthasu sahastiti pratyakshadibhir avagamita. We have told, the advocate of Mulavidya says, we have told that it is that positive ignorance is a matter of our experience. It is found in all three states. We have already told you, he says. We have already told you that it is present in all the three states. It is present in all the three states. Okay, let me just readjust my phones. Okay. Now he says that we have already told that the Mulavidya which we talked of, how is it not possible to prove it? Because it was shown by us before through perception and other pramanas that the positive ignorance is very much present, is very much existing in all the three states. We have already stated it is existing, it is a direct experience, and also through logically we have tried to show you. Now Siddhanti says, no, you can't say. Ukta hetu bistada siddhe. So for the reasons stated here, that the Mulavidya is present, positive ignorance is present in all the three states, is not provable, it cannot be proven. How? It is not at all there. It does not come to be established by the reasons such as perception and other pramanas you have stated. The pramanas which you have shown are not enough to prove the positive ignorance. Purupakshi continues. Katham yattavaduktam jagradavasthayam. Yattavaduktam. See, Purupakshi reminds what he stated. See, yattavaduktam jagradavasthayam mamaham najanami. In the waking, there is an experience in all of us. There is an experience in all of us that I don't know. This I don't know experience is nothing but this I don't know experience is the proof of positive ignorance, Mulavidya. See how he says. So, mamaham najanami, I don't know myself. How can you say so? We have stated before that there is a direct experienced notion. A directly experienced notion such as I don't know myself. This notion is present in our waking state. See, you ask everybody, I don't know myself. This ignorance, this notion of ignorance is present in everybody's experience. And this notion is a testimony for the presence of positive ignorance. This notion that I don't know myself proves positive ignorance. Who says that? Purvapakshi says. Okay, now let us see what Siddhanti says. Iti pratyakshabhaso bhavajnane manamiti. Siddhanti says na, tanna. Siddhanti says no. This experience, this notion that I don't know myself doesn't prove, I don't know myself, ನಾನು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಮೂಲಾವಿದ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾನೇನೆಂದರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತಿ ಸೇಸ್ ಈಸ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮೂಲಾವಿದ್ಯಾ. But whereas Mulavidyavadi, advocate of Mulavidya, said that this I don't know myself, which is a common experience of everybody. ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಈ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಅನುಭವ, ನಾನು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬ ಯಾವ ಅನುಭವವಿದೆಯೋ, ದಿಸ್ ಅನುಭವ ಪ್ರೂವ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಾವಿದ್ಯಾ, ಇದು ಮೂಲಾವಿದ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್. That I don't know myself is a notion, is an experience proving positive ignorance. Siddhanti says, let us analyze. No, it's not right. You have misunderstood, you have not, you have wrongly, you made a wrong conclusion. What Siddhanti says is, you made a wrong conclusion. How is that yet? Vuktanubhavastha. And Kannadaka is creating a problem. It has become only reading. Earlier it was a normal Kannadaka. Earlier it was my normal specs. Now it has become only reading. It has become only reading now. Uktanubhavasya anyathapi siddhehe. Because the experience which you are referring to, I don't know myself, mamaham najanami, nanu nanage gottilla, this experience doesn't prove. Because let us examine this experience. Siddhanti says, let us examine this experience. See, there is a problem. Even there is a perception. Perception means pratyakshanubhava. Even the pratyakshanubhava is likely to be misunderstood. That's a very great disadvantage, is a great misfortune of the human mind. Even the perception which is a so common universal experience, people might wrongly conclude about it. This is a very unfortunate thing. So even the common experience also has to be analyzed, examined, and then determine whether it is right or it is wrongly understood. Wrongly. How do we evaluate even the common experience? Experience is okay, but you are evaluating it in such a way that the conclusion is going wrong. This is what Siddhanti says. So common experience, I don't know myself, this experience everybody has. Purvapakshi says we have this experience. Siddhanti says yes, we have this experience. In this point there is a common agreement. Both of them agree that I don't know myself, we have an experience that I don't know myself. ನಾನು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬ ಅನುಭವ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಇದೆ ಎಂಬುದು ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತಿ ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಷ್ಟುವರೆಗೂ ಇಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ಮತಿ ಇದೆ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತ. The next point where they differ is this experience. Purvapakshi says it proves Mulavidya. Siddhanti says no, you made a wrong conclusion about the universal experience. You have evaluated it wrongly. Siddhanti shows it now. It is not right. This experience or a notion such as I don't know myself implies some other ignorance and not positive ignorance. Siddhanti says, Tanna uktanubhavasya anyathapi siddhehe. this anubhava, I don't know myself, this anubhava doesn't prove positive ignorance. In fact, this anubhava goes to prove something other than positive ignorance, other than Mulavidya. Mulavidyavannu ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸುವುದಲ್ಲ ಈ ಅನುಭವವು, ಮೂಲಾವಿದ್ಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಗೆಯಾದ ಅವಿದ್ಯೆಯನ್ನೇ ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. It proves an ignorance, something other than positive ignorance. So this I don't know myself, this experience, if properly evaluated, properly examined, do not come to prove the positive ignorance, Siddhanti says. It doesn't prove positive ignorance, it proves an ignorance other than Bhava Vidya, other than Mula Vidya. How he goes, now Siddhanti goes elaborately point by point. Now he says, Vidyatehi, this is most inconvenient, I am not used to it. I am used to keep my specs all the time. Now I am changing, is confusing me. Confusing me. I think I should have another specs. How many specs I should change like this every 6 months? So, uktanubhavasya anyathapi siddhe vidyatehi. Siddhanti says that, see, what is that some other ignorance now? Siddhanti says the experience I don't know myself doesn't come to prove positive ignorance at all. It proves something else. He says, what is that something else? Purapakshi is asking, what is that something else? Let us know. Come on, let us know. Siddhanti goes about, all the ignorance is only in 3 forms. See, this is Siddhanti's point. Siddhanti ಹೇಳುವುದೇನೆಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಜ್ಞಾನವು 3 ಬಗೆನೇ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. All our ignorance is only in the form of 3, in only 3 forms. Other than these 3, we have no 4th form. This is what Siddhanti says. All the ignorance we have is only in 3 forms, consists only in 3 forms. Such as, one is Jnana Abhava, absence of knowledge. That is no knowledge, not knowing. No knowledge or not knowing or absence of knowledge. This is one form of ignorance. Okay, absence of knowledge. Second is doubt. Doubt is also an ignorance. Okay, when you doubt something, you see, ignorance doesn't mean we have no idea of anything at all. It doesn't mean that. Ignorance means we not having a right understanding is called ignorance. Not having a right understanding. Right understanding is knowledge. Anything other than correct and right understanding, right and correct understanding, anything other than correct understanding is ignorance. So that ignorance has many forms, many forms. So one is not knowing anything about something. Examples he gives later. Just we are only enumerating these 3 types, and later we discuss point by point elaborately. Okay, simply not knowing or absence of knowledge. This ignorance exists in this form. This is one of the forms of ignorance. Ajnanada idondu ರೂಪ, ಏನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇದೊಂದು ರೂಪ. Not knowing anything is one form. Second form is doubt. Doubt is also ignorance. People think that how can you call doubt is an ignorance? Because in doubt there is an element of little knowledge about a thing. How can you say it is an ignorance? Hey, this is another form of ignorance. We don't say doubt is exactly total ignorance. Doubt is not absence of knowledge, not knowing. Doubt is not not knowing. Doubt is another kind of ignorance. So in doubt, what does the doubt mean? Doubt means regarding something you have 2 minds, maybe this, maybe that, or maybe this, or maybe different, something else. So partly it is like this, partly something else. So we are indecisive, not clear about it, not sure about it. Maybe vagueness, and then wavering. Vagueness and wavering thing is called doubt. Okay, vagueness about it and wavering about it, this is doubt, because you are not clearly understanding the thing as it is exactly. Accurately, exactly, clearly, you don't understand. So doubt is also ignorance, because as we told, what is knowledge? The right and correct understanding is knowledge. So doubt is not right and correct understanding. Therefore doubt is also a form of ignorance. Not knowing is one form of ignorance. Doubt is a second form of ignorance. Third is a misunderstanding or a wrong knowledge. You think something different about it. You have some notion about it which is a wrong notion about it. Means it is not a correct knowledge. You have a knowledge about it, but it is not correct knowledge. It is something distorted knowledge, wrong knowledge. So it is something differently, it is distorted one. So a wrong knowledge is also a form of ignorance. Now in short, there are three. This Bhashyakara also says, Bhashyakara is giving a Shankaracharya's quotation, Yadi jnana bhavo, yadi tattva jnanam, yadi samshaya jnanam, yadi viparicha jnananta uchyate ajnanamiti, sarvam hi tat jnanena iva nivartyate. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Bhashyakara is telling that ajnanam, ignorance, may be in the form of not knowing, or may be in the form of doubt, may be in the form of misapprehension, misunderstanding, wrong knowledge. Whatever may be the form of ignorance, all that will go by knowledge alone, by the correct knowledge, right knowledge, true knowledge, the knowledge true to the fact, the knowledge true to the fact and correct and complete knowledge. So with the help of the right knowledge, samyak jnanam we call in Sanskrit, yathavat jnanam, yathartha jnanam or samyak jnanam. With the help of yathartha jnanam, samyak jnanam, ajnanam will go away. Ajnanam of which form? Whatever may be the form of ajnanam, all the three forms of ajnanam will go away. Shankaracharya is referring to three forms of ajnanam here. And in another place also, he refers to ajnanam, ajnanam existing in these three forms, appearing in these three forms. He refers to always only these three. Other than these three, Shankaracharya never refers as a fourth form of ignorance. Not knowing, doubt and misunderstanding are a wrong knowledge. Error we call it, erroneous knowledge. Erroneous knowledge is, we can't use erroneous knowledge. Erroneous knowledge is a wrong expression according to English language. Error they call it. Erroneous knowledge is a translation of Indian word. Sanskrit we call them mithya jnanam. So the mithya jnanam is verbally translated, literally translated into English, is called erroneous knowledge. But error, in English, error is enough. We need not call erroneous knowledge. Error is enough. But anyway, we are Indians. Our English is more as a chaya, more as a shadow of, more as a reflection, image of Sanskrit words. Therefore, we allow this kind of English. Okay. Other people, those who do not know Indian English and my English, should get used to this English. So our English is more true to Sanskrit words. So we change many words according to Sanskrit. We create new words. We modify certain words to suit Sanskrit words. Okay. So this misunderstanding or a wrong knowledge or erroneous knowledge or error, this is the third form. So Shankaracharya says there are only three forms of ignorance. All the three forms will go away by right knowledge. So here Swamiji Satchidanandendra Swamiji says, all ajnanam, that I don't know myself. I don't know myself. This experience can be categorized any one of these three, or it can be explained as all the three. But there is no fourth type of ignorance called positive ignorance by Mulavidyavadi. Okay. There is no fourth type of ignorance like positive ignorance. Such thing never exists. How he explains? Could only be, so therefore, why can't we say that the experience you refer to as I don't know myself could only be referred to one of these three alone? We have referred to these three types of ignorance. So ajnanam can be only of these three types. I don't know myself means only these three. It doesn't mean anything else. How these three? Let us explain point by point. He says first, tatahi vyavahare tatra kasminschit vishaye Shritipakshangate sati evam matarjayate. When you hear something, people talking about something, when you hear, for example, while we are talking to people, when we come to hear about various things, then when we hear many things, people talk about, when we hear all those things, a notion arises in our mind like this: I don't know this, I don't know that. When he talks of many things, oh, I don't know that. Another thing he says, no, I don't know even that. Another one, no, I don't know in that. But I can say I know this much. Okay? Arises in our mind like this: I don't know this, I don't know that, but I have seen only this much and know only this much. See, first type of ignorance is absence of knowledge. There can't be absolute absence of knowledge. Every absence of knowledge implies some knowledge. Without some knowledge, there can't be simple absence of knowledge at all. For that, Swamiji is giving here a very good example. When people talk to you, you say, oh, I know this, but not the other one. That means when you say, I don't know something, you are implying that you know something else, but not this. See the idea. You know something, everybody knows something or other. How can there be a person on the earth knowing nothing? Absolute nothing, nobody can remain. There is no such thing called absolute ignorance. Absolute ignorance doesn't exist at all. Any not knowing, any absence of knowledge is in the context where you know something and yet you say, I don't know more than that, I know only this much and not more than that. So even to say absence of knowledge, even to say don't know, absence of knowledge, your mind implies possessing of some knowledge, whatever may be, but some knowledge you have. You have some knowledge, and more than this I don't know. This is what it means. The absence of knowledge implies that you don't know certain things, while knowing something you don't know something else. This is what is implied in absence of knowledge. But Purvapakshi is trying to say, some people say there is absolute absence of knowledge, or they try to say that positive ignorance, but none of them exist like that. Therefore, for example, while we are talking to people, when we come to hear about something, I know this, I know that, but I have seen only this much, I know only this much, I don't know the other. So when you say I don't know, you imply that you know something. Something you know, but this you don't know. This is what is simple not knowing or absence of knowledge. So thus not knowing jnana bhava pertains to something. So our not knowing or jnana bhava or absence of knowledge pertains to something in contrast with our knowledge of certain other things. This is a very interesting statement. This jnana bhava, absence of knowledge, not knowing, pertains to something in contrast with our knowledge of certain other things. We have some knowledge of certain other things. So in contrast with others, you say, I know certain things, but not this. So to show the contrast with your existing knowledge, you say, I don't know. So there can't be absolute absence of knowledge. Absence of knowledge is conditional. This is what he means. In other words, it is a conditional absence of knowledge. While knowing many things, or while knowing certain things, you don't know this one. So an absence of knowledge is found only in this context. Okay, the next one, doubt. If I know certain things, but this is not one other way, the same thing, absence of knowledge, can be explained in a different way. I have written some footnotes here. I know certain things, but this is not one of my known things. Thus it is only an absence of knowledge. So the absence of knowledge means it is not one of my known things. I know something, but it is unlike what I know. It is unlike my known knowledge. It is unlike my known knowledge. it is unlike my knowledge, it is not a part of my knowledge. Okay. So this is called absence of knowledge. I have elaborately discussed because this same point Purvapakshi is going to say that this proves positive ignorance. Later he is going to say. Now next point is three forms of ignorance we told. I don't know myself. This experience can be explained as implying only three types of ignorance: not knowing, wrongly knowing, and doubt. So he says, now the second point, that I don't know myself, this experience can possibly mean not knowing, absence of knowledge. It can possibly mean wrong knowledge also. How he explains? Sometimes a knowledge arises like this. This is silver, this is snake, this is water. So we have some experience. This is the misunderstandings. This is silver. Seeing a seashell, we mistake it to be silver. And seeing a rope, we mistake it for snake. And seeing mirage, we mistake it for water. So, but after some time, examining it thoroughly well, and another knowledge arises. This another knowledge is a real knowledge, true to the reality. So, falsifying or correcting the previous knowledge. So, the previous knowledge was something, it corrects the previous knowledge, because previous knowledge is a misunderstanding. It corrects the previous knowledge and reveals the fact as it is. So then, thus, alas, oh, I misunderstood it. It is not silver, oh my God, I misunderstood it. It is not silver, but it is only a seashell. Oh, I misunderstood. It is not snake, but it is only a rope. Now I understand it is only a rope. Oh, I misunderstood that it was a snake. Now I see it is only a rope. Oh, third example. Oh, I misunderstood it to be water. It is not at all water. It is only a mirage. Oh, it is not water, but only a mirage. In all these three examples, there was earlier a perception, and later another knowledge arises, which happened to be the true knowledge. It corrects the previous knowledge, but the previous knowledges have been errors. Okay, this which is in the form of taking something for what it is not. So this kind of ignorance is a misunderstanding, which means, how do you explain the misunderstanding? Taking something for what it is not. Okay, is called a misunderstanding or a wrong knowledge. So this is the second type of ignorance. The third type of ignorance is doubt. Sometimes a knowledge arises which is either this or that, or thus it is indecisive. It is indecisive, maybe this, maybe that. It may be this or maybe that, no, I am not sure, he says. So the knowledge is not sure. It is an indecisive knowledge. So for instance, you see in a darkness, a dim light, not pitch darkness, but a mild darkness. There you see a post there, and take the post for a person. There also you are not so clearly, you are not so sure of a person. You feel, is it a person or a post? But I feel it might be post also, or it might be a person also. So it may look like person or look like, so I am in two minds. I am in two minds. I am not sure of any one thing, whether it is a person or a post. I am in two minds. So this kind of knowledge, this is called doubt. Doubt is mind wavers between two alternatives. Might be that, might be this. Or it may be this, or it may not be that. It might be that or may not be that. So when the mind wavers, fluctuates between two alternatives and not sure of which one, that also it looks that this also may be true, but it looks that it may not be also. So you are not very sure. So this is a doubt. So we have a third form of ignorance called doubt. Okay. तथा कदाचित् मिथ्याज्ञानं नाम अतस्मिन् तद्बुद्धि रूपं क्वचित् पुनः अनिश्चित तद्भावरूपं द्विकोटिकं ज्ञानमुत्पद्यते यथा स्थाणुर्वास्यादयं पुरुषो वा सोऽयं संशयो नाम. Okay, we have explained samshaya. Next let us see. वर्णित स्वरूपत्रयस्य अज्ञानानुभवस्य व्यवहारावस्था विद्यमान यत्किंचित् विशेष विज्ञान सहसत्ताकस्य संस्कारः सामान्यतो हेतुर्भवति अहमज्ञः इति व्यवहारे. I don't know myself. Okay, in this expression, I don't know myself, in this expression, what is present in this expression is, it could be any of these three forms of ignorance. Varnita swarupatrayasya ajnananubhavasya. Three forms of ignorance we have stated just now: not knowing, misunderstanding, or a wavering doubt. Wavering means either that, either or this, or maybe that, maybe this. So vyavahara avastha vidyamana yatkinchit vishesha jnana sahasattakasya samskaraha. So this, all these three ignorances, all these three forms of ignorance necessarily presuppose some knowledge. They are necessarily accompanied by some degree of knowledge, some amount of knowledge. Ato vishesha vijnana yatkinchit vishesha vijnana sahasattakasya. You have knowledge of something but not of this. So always it is presupposes, it is accompanied by some degree of some knowledge about something else. Okay, without that you can't have this kind of ignorance. So hetur bhavati ahamagnyah iti vyavahare tatra evam sati na shakyate vaktum. Therefore is concluding ahamagnyah iti vyavaharena siddhyati jagarite bhavajnanamiti. Therefore you can't say that this expression or this notion that I don't know myself proves conclusively positive ignorance. You can't say, because it doesn't prove at all. In fact, it proves something else. It proves something else. It proves the other three forms of ignorance, not at all positive ignorance. Next point, yatvahuhu bhava vidyavadinaha. Next, the bhava vidya means the advocates of Mulavidya say, na janami ityanubhavo na mithya jnana vishayaha. Nava samshayaha na janamiti nirbhasat नाप्यंतःकरण वृत्तिज्ञान अभावः तद्विषयः अभाव प्रतियोगी ज्ञाने. Abba is making it highly complicated. Anyway, I'll tell you, if you have patience, listen. The book is Shushka Tarka. Shushka Tarka means a dry logic, means a lot of speculation. So in speculation you have to explain a lot. Anyway, now the advocate of Mulavidya says, na janami ityanubhavaha. This experience, this expression that I don't know, this notion that I don't know myself, anubhavo na mithya jnana vishayaha. He is refuting. Siddhanti told, I don't know myself could be one of these three forms of ignorance. There is no fourth form called positive ignorance, bhava vidya. Purvapakshi says, that same advocate of Mulavidya, this I don't know myself, necessarily it refers to only positive ignorance. It cannot refer to any of the three. It cannot refer to any of the three forms of ignorance which Siddhanti referred. Siddhanti talked of. Okay. Purvapakshi says, no. I don't know myself doesn't imply, doesn't mean any of the three forms of ignorance which you Siddhanti say. Okay? How he argues, see. Na janami ityanubhavo na mithya jnana vishayaha. I don't know myself doesn't refer to wrong knowledge at all, misunderstanding. Why? Because mithya jnanasya jnanatvadikaranatvat. Because mithya jnanam, misunderstanding, is a knowledge. He says a misunderstanding is a kind of understanding. Who says? Mulavidyavadi. the advocate of Mulavidya says that a misunderstanding falls into the category of understanding only. It is a kind of understanding. It falls in the category of understanding, but here we are referring, I don't know myself. I don't know myself is clearly ignorance. Obviously it is an ignorance. It can't be a misunderstanding, because misunderstanding is a kind of understanding. Purvapakshi says that Mulavidyavadi, misunderstanding, a wrong knowledge is a kind of knowledge. A misunderstanding is a kind of understanding. It falls within the category of understanding. Therefore, you can't say, I don't know myself. Can be a kind of a misunderstanding. It can't be. It is not a misunderstanding at all. I don't know myself is a purely ignorance only. It is a Mulavidya. It is a Bhava Rupa. See how Purvapakshi argues. Okay. Napi Jnana Bhava Vishayaha. Second point, he says, first, it is not, I don't know myself doesn't imply a misunderstanding. Second point is, I don't know myself doesn't imply even an absence of knowledge. Okay? The first one, it doesn't imply even the absence of knowledge, because absence of knowledge means something. So the absence of knowledge has certain character. But I don't know myself doesn't tally with it. I don't know myself is not simply absence of knowledge, because absence of knowledge requires a certain condition. It has a certain character. That ಜ್ಞಾನ ಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಭಾವ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವು ಷರತ್ತುಗಳಿರುತ್ತವೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿರುತ್ತವೆ. So ಜ್ಞಾನಾಭಾವ has certain conditions. It has got certain character. Character means certain swabhava. So, I don't know myself. ನಾನು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬುದು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಭಾವವಾಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. I don't know myself doesn't constitute absence of knowledge. Why? You may ask why. Because Purvapakshi argues, jnana abhava, absence of knowledge, has certain character. And it exists in certain conditions. But those conditions don't obtain here. This is what Purvapakshi says. I don't know myself, this experience is not obtaining in those conditions. Those conditions are not present here. It doesn't share that character of absence of knowledge. Absence of knowledge has certain character. I don't know myself doesn't have that character, he says. Later Siddhanti refutes it, but at the moment Purvapakshi says that he alone is right. Okay, let him say, later we will refute it. He says, Napi Jnana Bhava Vishayaha, because Jnana Bhava, the absence of knowledge, requires what? Jnana Rupe Atmane Tadabhavasya Asambhavat. जायत अनुभवो न मिथ्या ज्ञान विषयः मिथ्या ज्ञानस्य ज्ञानत्वादिकरणत्वात् नापि ज्ञानाभाव विषयः ज्ञान रूपे आत्मनि तदभावस्य असंभवात्. This is also Mulavidyavadis. Many scholars, I have spoken to them, most of them use this argument. It is not absence of knowledge, they say. Why? Because absence of knowledge requires what? First thing is, absence of knowledge can obtain only, absence of knowledge cannot exist in Atma, whose nature is very knowledge. The very nature of Atma is knowledge. Atmana swabhavave chaitanya. Antaralli, Atmanalli chaitanyavilla ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಯಾರಿಗಾದರೂ ಆ ತರಹ ಜ್ಞಾನಾಭಾವ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತದೆ? ಆಗುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So in the nature of in Atman, whose nature is very consciousness, in the Atman whose nature is very knowledge or consciousness, how can there be present an absence of knowledge? It is like calling, in the sunlight there is an absence of light. Can there be absence of light, in the sunlight, in the sun? Can you have absence of light in the sun? That is too much. That is impossible. ಸೂರ್ಯನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಅಭಾವ ಇರಬಹುದಾ? ಸೂರ್ಯನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಅಭಾವ, ಆ ಮಾತಕ್ಕೇನರ್ಥ? ಅದು ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ? ಅದು ಸರ್ವಥಾ ಅಸಂಭವ. ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ದರೂ ಅಸಂಭವವೇ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಇಂಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಎನಿ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್, ಎನಿ ಮ್ಯಾನರ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ಇಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. In the sunlight, in the sun itself, why sunlight? In the sun, how can there exist an absence of light in the very sun? Sun, the very nature of the sun is light. The very nature of sun is light. How can we have absence of light in the sun? Similarly, Atma's very nature is consciousness. The very nature of Atma is Chaitanyam. In the Chaitanyam, how can there be Jnana Bhava? But our experience says, I don't know myself. So I don't know myself is everybody's experience. Okay? This experience, I don't know myself, this experience, how can this experience be explained or interpreted as absence of knowledge? You can't interpret. You can't interpret, you can't take it as absence of knowledge, because the very nature of Atma is knowledge. The very nature of Atma is consciousness, knowledge. How can Atma understand absence of knowledge? Is it possible? Can sun think of what is night? Can sun ever think of absence of light? It's impossible. How can the sun, whose very nature is light, can ever think of absence of light? How is absence of light like? Okay? Impossible. Because sun cannot imagine the absence of light, because sun is all light, eternal light, ever light. Similarly here, I don't know myself cannot be interpreted as absence of knowledge. It is impossible. First one is ruled out. First interpretation which Siddhanti gave is ruled out. That I don't know myself expression doesn't imply misunderstanding. Why? Already told, I am just repeating. Doesn't imply misunderstanding, because Purvapakshi gives an argument, misunderstanding is one of the knowledges alone. It falls in the category of knowledge, but here I don't know myself is an ignorance. There is no knowledge. But Mithya Jnanam, wrong knowledge, is only one of the knowledges. Okay? Therefore, it cannot be misunderstanding. Second point is, it cannot be absence of knowledge, because in the nature of Atman, whose very nature is consciousness or knowledge, Atma cannot come to experience absence of knowledge. Atma experiencing absence of knowledge, how does it mean? What does it mean? It is something like, I don't exist. Can you ever have an experience that I don't exist? That is ridiculous. Existence is myself. How can I come to have an experience that I don't exist? That is impossible. Because even to have such an experience, you must be present. Even to have such an experience that I don't know myself or I don't exist, you must be present. When you are present, how can you have an experience of I don't exist? Therefore, I don't know myself cannot be an absence of knowledge, because Atma's very nature is knowledge. Okay? Coming to the third one, doubt. Okay? Coming to the third one. Jnana rupe atmani tadabhavasya sambhavat nava samshaya vishaya viparyaya samshaya vishayaha, nor it can be doubt. Okay? I don't know myself cannot constitute even doubt. Najanamiti nirbhasat, because you watch the very nature of experience. I don't know, it is a very clear cut. It is a categorical experience. It is not a wavering experience. It is not a wavering means a fluctuating experience. It is a one and clear cut experience. It is not a fluctuating. It is a conclusive experience. I don't know myself is a conclusive, is a clear, categorical, no fluctuating. Okay? This three, the Siddhanti interpreted that I don't know myself can be interpreted as implying any of these three forms of ignorance, and no fourth one called positive ignorance. Purvapakshi refutes it cannot be any of the three forms of ignorance which Siddhanti talked of. Okay? It can't be any of the three forms of ignorance. Napi, another one he says, Napi antakarana vritti jnana bhavaha tad vishayaha abhava pratiyogi jnane tad ajnane cha tadrisha abhava jnana ayogat. Appa, it's a very complicated appa. I think we'll stop with it. I'm feeling tired. We will continue it in the next class. There are two more arguments are there. Two more arguments we will discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.